This is a video by Richmond. Today we're working on a Toyota Corolla. This happens to be a 2009 model, and what we're doing today is we're replacing the front brakes. The first thing we need to do is to get the tire and wheel assembly off. What I did is I drove it up on the ramps because it's very low, and that will help me to jack it up and put it on jack stands. Now be very careful if you have an S model like this one and it has the ground effects right down here. It's even lower, and you don't want to hit that coming up the ramps. I've got extensions on there, so it worked out quite well, but that's something you have to be aware of. We've got our tires and wheel assemblies off, and we're going to start on the right side. So we've turned the steering wheel all the way to the right so we can access the caliper. And next thing we're going to do is try to compress the caliper as much as we can with a screwdriver in through the access window here. Okay. Next we need to loosen our 14mm caliper bolts to mount. I'm using a 1/2" breaker bar, which gives me a lot of leverage. Geez, that was on easy. I expected that to be a lot tighter than that. Now this is an 09 and it's got 35,000 miles on it, so I might be the first one to get in here. Oh yeah, look at that. That bolt's like brand new. Alright, we need to take the other one off now. Alright, now we can take the caliper off and use a stiff wire and hang it from the strut. There we go. Now we can get at the pads. Let's see how easy these pads come out. Shouldn't be that bad. There we go. It's the outboard pad. It sure is nice working on a fairly new car. There we go. That one was getting thin. Now I've got the caliper mount off the vehicle. You don't have to do this. But what we need to do is to take the guide pins out and lube those. So be careful. Pry back the boot. And then you can take the guide pin out. I'm using some synthetic brake caliper grease. And we'll put that in there. And there it is. Nice and loose. Now we need to do the other one. For this job we're going to be using these Duralast Gold C-Max pads. I know they cost a little bit extra compared to the regular ones, about $20 more. But you're only going to be paying for it once. And what it will come with is your pad shims which is nice. And of course the pads, which are ceramic material, and we have a little bit of brake grease. So you're all set as far as all the parts you need. Now if you want to save the clip off of your old pads, take a small screwdriver and go right in this part of the clip right here. There is a little lock. You want to lift that up, and that will bring it out of the seat. And there's your clip. Now, sometimes when you do that, it expands it a little bit. You just give it a little. Now you can put it on your new pad, and there it is, nice and tight. Our mount is in place. Our shims are right where they should be. They're in good order. So now we can load our pads. We'll start with the inboard pad. That one is pretty straightforward. The outboard pad, you got to cock it just a little bit on an angle, like this. And there it is. Pads are all in place. Next thing we need to do is push the piston back into the caliper. You can use a C-clamp or a tool like I'm using here. Watch the reservoir. If it's too full, you might have to suction a little bit fluid out of it. I'm not turning very hard. It's almost to the bottom. There. Next I'm going to take some of my synthetic grease and put that where it makes contact with the pads. I know it has anti-squeal pads on it, but this gives it a little extra protection. There we go. Alright, now we can install our caliper back on the mount. And put our bolts in place. Now, the bolts right here go into the guide pin, and you'll need I'll show you on this one up here. Put your wrench on the guide pin so it doesn't turn on you. And tighten the bolts. There we go. That side's all done. Now all we have to do is the other side, same as we did this side. And once you get your tires and wheels on, don't forget to pump the brake before you move it to squeeze in the piston to take up that extra space. And that's it. You have just done a front brake job on your Toyota Corolla.